In a move that has sent shockwaves across the country, former U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order to dismantle the U.S. Department of Education. This unprecedented decision marks one of the biggest shakeups in American education history. But why did Trump do this? How will it affect students, parents, and educators? And what does it mean for the future of American education? Let's break it all down. Standing before a fired-up crowd, Trump signed the executive order and declared,
"All lawful steps to shut down the department. We're going to shut it down and shut it down as quickly as possible. It's doing us no good. We want to return our students to the states."
This move is not a sudden decision. It has been a long-standing goal of conservative lawmakers. For years, Republicans have argued that Washington has no business controlling schools and that education should be run at the state level. With this executive order, Trump has directed Congress to draft legislation that will dismantle the department and shift its responsibilities to the states. But what pushed Trump to make this move now? Trump has always had a bone to pick with the Department of Education. Since his first term in office, he has repeatedly called for its elimination, arguing that it wastes billions of taxpayer dollars while failing to improve education outcomes. Speaking at the White House, Trump made his stance clear.
Country and spends likewise by far more money per pupil than any country, and it's not even close, but yet we rank near the bottom of the list in terms of success.
His argument is simple. Education shouldn't be dictated by bureaucrats in Washington, but instead by local communities that understand their own students' needs.
Exploded by 600% in a very short period of time, and it employs bureaucrats in buildings all over Washington, D.C. And as a former real estate person, I will tell you, I ride through the streets of Washington and it says Department of Education, Department of Education. I said, how do you fill those buildings? It's crazy what's happened over the years.
He also blames the department for America's declining academic performance, which raises the question, what exactly was the Department of Education doing? The Department of Education was created in 1979 under President Jimmy Carter to coordinate federal education policies, distribute funding, and enforce civil rights laws in schools. While it doesn't control school curricula, that power remains with the states. It oversees student loans, education research, and programs for disadvantaged students. It has played a key role in protecting students with disabilities, ensuring equal access to education, and funding low-income schools. But critics argue that it has grown too powerful and ineffective, turning into a bloated bureaucracy that does more harm than good. Trump's move now raises an even bigger question. How does America compare to other countries in education? And has this department helped or hurt? One of Trump's key justifications for shutting down the Department of Education is America's slipping academic performance on the global stage. According to the PISA program for International Student Assessment Rankings, the U.S. lags behind countries like China, Finland, Singapore, and Canada in key subjects like math, science, and reading. Trump argues that despite billions spent on education reform, the federal government has failed to improve results. He believes that giving states full control will create more innovative solutions tailored to their own needs. But will handing education over to state governments actually help? Or will it create new problems? With the Department of Education set to be dismantled, each state will be responsible for its own education policies. This could lead to drastically different education systems across the country. Some wealthier states may thrive, pumping more money into their schools and creating innovative programs. But poorer states could struggle with funding, leading to widening education gaps. There are also concerns about civil rights protections. Without a federal watchdog, some fear that students with disabilities, minority students, and those from low-income backgrounds could lose vital protections and resources. For parents and students, the biggest concern is, what happens next? One of the biggest uncertainties is student financial aid. The Department of Education currently manages federal student loans and Pell Grants, which help millions of students afford college. With its elimination, there's uncertainty about whether these programs will continue, or if students will have to rely on private lenders and state programs instead. Parents may also struggle with sudden policy shifts, as every state will have different education rules and standards. Moving from one state to another could become a nightmare for students trying to transfer credits or qualify for programs. But Trump's supporters argue that this change will lead to greater school choice, more charter schools, and an education system free from government control. However, not everyone is convinced, especially Democrats, who are vowing to fight back. Democrats and education advocates are slamming Trump's decision, calling it reckless and irresponsible. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer didn't hold back, saying, "Attempting to dismantle the Department of Education is one of the most destructive and devastating steps Donald Trump has ever taken." Former Education Secretary Miguel Cardona also condemned the move, warning that it would erase decades of progress in equal education access. Democrats have vowed to challenge Trump's order in Congress and the courts, setting the stage for a bitter legal battle over the future of education in America. But whether they succeed or not, Trump's move has already changed the game. Trump's executive order has now set the wheels in motion for one of the biggest education overhauls in U.S. history. If Congress supports it, the Department of Education will be phased out, and states will take full control. If Democrats successfully challenge it, the decision could be delayed or blocked in court. One thing is clear: Trump has ignited a national debate on the role of the federal government in education. Will this lead to better schools, more choices, and stronger local control? Or will it create inequality, confusion, and chaos? Only time will tell.